Groovy.
Welcome, everybody. This is another round of Truth or Shenanigans, the game of competitive game reviews. I have with me today Itty Bitty,
I'm in it to win it, baby.
Green Machine,
Hey, what's up?
Prime Synergy,
Yo.
and the fourth contestant is new. He's amazing. He is lukewarm. We're kind of short of person today, so I will host and participate, and today we are going to review Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So we're going to get right to it. Edie, we're going to give you the first statement. The wait was worth it. Truth or shenanigans?
The wait was worth it. I gotta say truth on this. Seeing as I basically became aware of this game a couple months ago, mostly because you people were talking about it, the wait, it was an incredibly short wait for me, and the game has been well worth it. I'm, clapping right now, standing ovation, definitely worth the wait.
All right. Wow. Green, your take on that?
Wow, okay. I guess I have to say shenanigans. I didn't really wait long for the game myself because I didn't play the last one, but I still think because there wasn't spectate mode in the online, I don't know if the wait was worth it on that.
All right. Prime?
I'm gonna have to go with Truth, because they announced it in April of last year, I think. So, the wait really wasn't that bad. I mean, if you were waiting since Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that's like a 10-year wait, so you were probably mad. But, I mean, I was okay, so...
All right. And Nuke Warm. Why, thank you, Nuke. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go with shenanigans a little bit on this one, just because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was probably my favorite arcade game of all time. I actually had a moment where I beat the entire game in the arcade on 1 quarter, when arcades were actually just a quarter to play. That was a long time ago. I'm showing my age here, but it was a long time in coming, and so I would have liked this a little sooner. I'm glad it's here now, but I call shenanigans on that. I don't think the wait was quite worth it for what I ended up getting at the end of that.
I think you need to give yourself negative points for such a lengthy answer compared to everybody else.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so negative point to Itty for arguing with another contestant and the host at the same time. Although the argument was probably valid, but you're in it to win it. Nice. All right. Green, the next statement, we'll start with you. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has a great selection of fighters.
Yeah, truth. I mean, there's a ton of guys, like, sorry, I don't know exactly how many.
38.
But I love...
that.
And there were 56 in Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
She came prepared.
I did research.
It's not her turn, so it's not going to work for her out.
Damn it again.
She can't. No, I'm going to take a second here. Itty can't learn. If you go back, watch every review Itty is in, she just can't help herself but lose it. So, anyway, go ahead, Green. You have the stage.
Anyways, yeah, great selection. I love the Marvel comic guys and all the other guys. Lots of different speeds too and attack types. I mean, yeah, true.
All right, Prime.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Truth on this one. Even though it's less than, well, the other one had 56, it's a lot more balanced. So that's a lot better. But my problem is there's a lot of weird choices like Crimson Viper and Beautiful Joe and Chris. I don't think anybody was asking for those characters. Like the dude from Out of Commando, like who's out there begging for him to be in a fighting game. So I mean, good choices, but just some weird inserts in there.
All right, and Itty.
All right, I had to just barely fall on the shenanigans side of this. I will say they have a good, decent selection, but for some reason it just doesn't feel like there's a really big selection. And I personally miss a lot of the silly characters like some of the ones that they had in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that I love to play with, like the cactus guy. You know, just some really kind of silly characters that are just fun to play with. They're not very good, they're not really competitive, but they're just fun to bring out and play with, and you see their crazy ass moves. So I'm just barely falling on the shenanigans side of this.
All right, I'm giving you a few extra points for the stats you did bring just at the inappropriate time, but you know I like stats, so I'll give it to you. For my part, I will say Shenanigans as well, and I fall on Shenanigans simply because the thing that caught me about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is I could play and randomize my characters an infinite amount of times, and there were so many combinations, and I'd never get tired picking different characters. And for some strange reason, and maybe I've become jaded over the years, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, because it doesn't offer as many, doesn't feel as varied. I feel like I am playing with the same characters already a little bit. It still has a great selection of characters, but just compared to its predecessor, I fall on the Shenanigans side for a little bit on that. All right, and I guess that would be the end of round 1. And looks like Itty is in the lead, Prime coming in second, Green and I are tied for third, or we're both last, depending on how you like to
Tied for third sounds a little more impressive.
It does, that's why I said that first. All right, Prime, this statement is for you. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has the staying power of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, about 10 years.
That is the absolute truth, because fighting game fans are crazy. Because people are still playing, Street Fighter Third Strike, and that came out in 2001. So, like, I mean, who's out there playing 2-year-old games except for fighting game fans? So that's absolutely true.
All right, Itty?
You know what, I this one I felt a little bit more on the shenanigans side, because, I don't know, I just feel like it's not, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is just not quite up to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, so there's just a little bit something missing for me. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it could be spectator mode, I don't know. So, yeah, I had to go on the shenanigans side of things here.
All right, and Green?
Staying power, I'm going to have to go with Shenanigans, just because I think they brought back Marvel vs. Capcom 2 to the PlayStation 3, a little while back, and it brought all the excitement back, and people have been playing it. This one, without the spectate mode, I just don't see people playing it as long. And also, people have mentioned character size before, so just no.
Okay. And I will say Shenanigans, but for a slightly different reason. In this day and age, it's all about money. So I'd figure Capcom will come out with another version of the game, or Marvel vs. Capcom 4 much faster than 10 years. So even though this game could have the staying power, I don't think it will be allowed to even attempt to have the staying power. I think something else they'll come along with something else faster because of the almighty dollar.
Good point.
All right. And this one back to Itty. Last statement for the second round. We don't need spectator mode.
We don't need spectator mode. I'm going to shock everybody here. And I'm going to say truth. Because there is nothing that says great, groundbreaking fighting game than two cards bouncing against each other, fighting it out. Hours and hours of suspense, not knowing what is going on in the game, except for the expletives coming from the players. It really lets you use your imagination to imagine what the battle is. What could be better than that? I ask you, what could be better? Truth.
All right, Green, follow that one up.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna stick a little more with reality. I'm gonna go with Shenanigans. come on, we need spectate mode. If you get more than 4 people in a room and you're sitting there watching cards bounce, I mean, nothing could be more boring than that. And this fighting game is one of the most fun fighting games with all the characters you get to use at the same time, so just horrible. And also, if you're trying to learn a new game, I need to watch the other players and see what they're doing. It's so hard to just go up against the guy and get destroyed once and then have to wait in the line. So, yeah, we need it. Shenanigans.
All right, and Prime.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Shenanigans too, because I don't know about you, but I don't find 2 cards particularly interesting. Watching them bounce up against each other for hours on end.
What if they were 2 girl cards?
Oh,
Well,
wow.
well,
Did he go in blue?
well. I think she should lose points for that statement. It's not relevant here, okay?
Hey, I didn't say 2 guys. I said 2 girls.
Oh, that will be more interesting. But yeah, I mean, like it's boring, like sitting in the lobby waiting for 2 people to fight, especially when they take. If you have it still an infinite time, the match could literally take forever, and you're sitting there doing nothing the entire time. So, Shenanigans.
All right, and I can't do anything but say Shenanigans. Reason I think this game has just fallen flat on its face for me right now is that the enjoyment of heckling while I'm watching 2 of my fellow sinners fight it out and not being able to know what's going on, I can't watch it. That mode is a given. You have to have that in this day and age. And the excuses I hear coming out of the development camp have been pretty lame. So I think it's a huge miss. I think you already have some people looking at what the next fighter is already just because of that. The bare bones online, the fact that you don't even have a tournament system like you did in Super Street Fighter or anything like that. Yeah, you have 8-person lobbies, but literally we have our controllers turning off because we don't get to play, 20 minutes. So I think right there, that's a killer, and it's disappointing. And they could have done better. So, Shenanigans. All right. Then that ends round 2. So, our 2 survivors into the final round with a commanding lead is Itty. And coming in second, Prime. So it will be Itty and Prime vying for the right to review this game.
I'm taking you down.
She's cheating.
Good showing, Green, and I kept myself out of the running because I didn't want to be lynched, so we'll just leave it there. And back to my moderator only
Because you know I was going to heckle you.
Oh, God, yeah. There's no chance of me winning that one, so that's all right. Anywho, all right, we'll start with Itty for the first statement. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 actually has a strong story mode. Truth or Shenanigans?
Story mode? Yeah, Shenanigans. Because I have no freaking idea, family show here, freaking idea, what the story mode is for this game. And if you can't tell me that those lame-ass endings in arcade mode constitute a storyline. They might be the storyline? I'm not really sure. I have no clue. Shenanigans, nope.
All right, and Prime.
Yeah, I'm going to say Shenanigans. I will pay anyone any amount of money if they can tell me what's going on in the opening cutscenes. Because it starts off with Ryu and Wolverine fighting on a roof. Like, first of all, why are they on a roof? Like, are they mad at each other? Like, don't they remember each other from Marvel vs. Capcom 2? Like, they have bad memories? Like, what's going on? Like, I think about transport to another dimension and then a guy in a wolf costume. I would remember him. You know, just say it. So, Shenanigans. Story is bananas.
All right. So I was going to give that point to Itty because she had the same answer first, but because Prime said bananas at the end of that, and that just
damn! How am I supposed to compete with bananas?
Forgiven. The point goes to Prime. All right. Next statement. This goes to Prime. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is great for new players and veterans alike.
I'm going to have to say truth, just because of the way you worded that statement. It's great for new players because they can just press buttons and colors happen, so that's fun. It's great for veterans because they know what they're doing, so you know they can jump in the game, press buttons and do all this crazy stuff they do. What it's not good for is people who are trying to make the jump from new player to veteran, because Capcom sort of just leaves them out in the water to drown because, like, they have what was mission mode. They don't ever tell you like this attack is good for this situation, this combo is good for this situation. It just sort of gives you a list of combos, but you don't really know when or how to use them for the most part. So.
All right, and Itty.
Yeah, I'm gonna say truth on this one. I'm sitting here trying to think of a creative answer here, but I don't think I'm gonna get points on it. I'm gonna say noobs will never win against veteran players, but the game gives noobs the chance to get into the game and learn how to play it with more skill if they want to.
Does anybody else feel like she's phoning this one in?
I'm not phoning this one in. It's just basically what I was gonna say. Prime said it all.
Oh,
she's stalling for time.
All right, I'm giving Prime the point here. And let's go on to the last statement. This one to Itty. Developer support has been strong for Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
All right, I'm totally calling shenanigans on this, because putting an update out there for future downloadable content to milk us poor gamers out of more money is not developer support. It's you guys being greedy assholes.
Got to the family show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought it was a family show.
Well, they say ass on TV all the time.
Yeah, they usually don't say like assholes though.
No, my mistake. Greedy asses.
And Prime.
Yeah, I want to say shenanigans because it's about as strong as a guy with no arms and no legs. Because how long it taken us off the update for online? About 2 weeks maybe, give or take, a week or so. And like the online was broken when it first came out. We're getting new characters like 2 months after release. We're getting costumes until then, and I don't know about you, but I don't care how pretty Captain America looks. So, definitely shenanigans.
All right, I am going to go ahead and call this one. I think it's clear that although I would give her a point for swearing, except she always swears during all gaming, so that's pretty much the norm. I'm giving the shutout to Prime.
Yeah.
3-0, nice one, Prime.
Thank you.
You've got the floor. Give us your score out of 100 and why.
Out of 100, I'm going to have to go with about 75. Because, although it's a good game, very good foundation, it has so many small issues in every aspect that it just sort of, all those small issues add up and eventually it just turns into one big giant mess once you start to dig deep enough. But overall, I think you'll have fun with it. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Prime. Congratulations.
Thank
you to Green, Itty, and that wonderful Nuke Warm. He was a wonderful guest today.
Shenanigans.
All right. Saying goodbye for all sinners out there. Hope you enjoyed it.
See you next time.
That's it.
See ya.
Hail to the king, baby. Come get some.